Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:30 PM. All trustees are present except for trustee Mendoza Torres is absent. Are there any public comments for closed session items? No public comments on closed session items, so we will move into closed session at 5:30 PM. We will reconvene open session at 6 p.m. And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and can I get an approval of the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda?
A motion by trustee Garrison.
I'll second.
And a second by trustee Candelaria Orr. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And trustee Mendoza Torres is absent. Okay, so for public comment on consent and non-agenda items, the public may address the board on any consent or non-agenda item pursuant to the Brown Act during this period. The board cannot consider issues or take action on any item not listed on the agenda. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person per item and 20 minutes per topic. And with that, the first public comment we have is Nancy and Bill Schmidt.
Hi, I gave you this as well in your binder. You have a binder in front of you. My name is Nancy Schmidt, and I have 3 grandchildren in Cloverdale schools. This spring, Washington Middle School sent an opt-out form and short overview for 6th grade puberty ed classes to be presented during a week of daily assembly-style classes. I immediately sought access to curriculum and received links a week later from Windsor's Alliance Medical Center presenter a day or two before classes started. I read the Planned Parenthood and Advocates for Youth curriculum, which you have, corresponded with the presenter, and checked out the recommended Kids Video website. I wondered if anyone on the board, staff, PTA, or community previewed the curriculum before it was welcomed into the school. I brought you these printed materials tonight. What's the big deal? Kids need sex ed. The Planned Parenthood and Advocates for Youth materials teach lots of essential sex ed. The same basic training virtually all of us got during our adolescence, important info for developing kids. Both curriculums also include lots of training on how one must identify their gender, emphasis on must, according to new standards and processes. They include some of the following corrections to historically stereotyped gender identifications, such as 1, biological sex is only indicative of your physical sex at birth. 2, gender identification must be determined by how you feel about yourself. You must decide if you feel like you're a male, female, asexual, trans, bi, cisgender, non-binary, homosexual, lesbian, etc. These feelings are the determining factor in your gender identification. 3, male and female reproductive systems are to be presented as systems A and B, not referencing genders. 4, the teacher's resource section instructs presenters to recognize if they're in a conservative community and dial it down accordingly. Also to remember, younger kids are using binary terminology and must be eased into correct terminologies and ways of thinking. 5, there is no respect for nor embracing of antiquated stereotype male-female biological classifications. Biological sexual identification is a stereotype endorsed mostly by cisgender males who identify as their biological sex. The worldviews of societies and individuals who differ from that of the materials is categorically left out, explained as untrue, corrected, etc. This is from the materials. My questions are, as gatekeepers for the protection and provision of children, do school districts have a responsibility to preview sex ed materials, presenters, and presentations? B, are there alternative curriculums and presenting organizations to draw from? C, is there a legal requirement that schools must include the National Sex Education Standards in SES referenced throughout the curriculum for gender identification training? D, are there staff, board members, PTSA members, parents, community adults auditing Cloverdale sex ed presentations? And what other questions and answers should be considered?
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. There's a little more on there, which you have the transcript.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
And our next public comment, name to be called upon, is Angela Cordova.
Hello. So, Mr. Jorgensen, I know you received my email trying to continue the court date. make sure that your incompetent attorneys give you the correct direction how to do that. Also, my requests for the cease and desist answers have not been given to me. I need those before court. Here we find ourselves in another precarious position. CUSD has school and college legal services on retainer, correct? You have Jennifer Nix as general counsel, the same attorney that I've been telling you since March 22 that was not competent nor qualified to handle Mr. Lucchetti's personnel matter. The same attorney that sent me a cease and desist letter in September as I continued to pull her and Betha McLean's covers to unfold the truth about them. The same attorney who now has a government claim against the law firm for $7 million from her own colleague and senior counsel, Damara Moore, for the exact things that I said about Ms. Nix, and I'll reiterate. Nix is despicable, corrupt, bully, unethical, uneducated, unprofessional, hostile, discriminatory, malicious, falsified accusations, retaliatory, and downright dirty, unlawful conduct as general counsel. The same thoughts apply to McLean. I'm not an attorney, and I saw right through her and McLean's bullshit, but none of you did. Now I'll read the excerpts from the government claim, and I'll be posting it on the community page for everyone to see who represents Cloverdale as their attorney. My question to you is, how are you going to pull out of this? From the government claim, it's a $7 million claim against them. It's based on personal injuries against Ms. Moore. Damara Moore is the senior general counsel. SCLS law firm created and continued to create a hostile work environment due to discrimination, retaliation on the basis Ms. Moore exercising her rights to engage in the following: complaining about harassment, speaking in public, discrimination and retaliation against her and other employees, complaining about unlawful conduct in the workplace, exercising her First Amendment rights, and her freedom of speech. That's everything I was doing. And you guys served me a cease and desist. That's smart. Nix was looking at allegations that would support cause for disciplinary action against Ms. Moore. That's what Betha was doing to Lucchetti, and you allowed her. During the time frame Ms. Moore received letters of disciplinary action, Nix was on a retaliatory snipe hunt, which I referred to Lucchetti's case as a witch hunt. You guys allowed it. Nix was supposed to be under investigation and continued to perform her duties, engaging in retaliatory conduct. I asked for McLean to be under investigation. You didn't do that either. There's no supporting witnesses or documentary evidence
Angela, thank you.
supporting here that Jennifer Nix deletes videos.
Your 3
What else was
minutes are up,
deleted
Angela.
from here? Nix has a legal
Angela, we're
background.
going to have to clear the room.
That's fine.
If you
Nix has a
don't stop.
legal background
Your 3
that's
minutes are
limited
up.
to special education,
we're
charter
gonna-
schools, and students. No board governance and no
And we are going to reconvene the meeting at 6:14 PM. Okay, for closed session reportable action taken, the governing board approved public employment certificated classified in management, and that information is available up here with Kathleen on request. Sorry, thank you. And now we will move on to our consent calendar. Is there anything that we need to pull?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Right, trustee Garrison motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Trustee Candelaria Orr, second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And trustee Mendoza Torres is absent. Okay, so moving on to discussion action. J1, consideration and possible approval of naming the John Allen Memorial Field announcers booth in recognition of Mr. Don Goodman.
For the last two meetings, we've heard input or the suggestion that we consider naming an item after Dawn. And last meeting, we had a hearing, or a public input, excuse me, as per board policy. So tonight, the board can move forward if they want to take such action. And if we do, what do we want to call it? Or what do we want to name, and what do we want to call it by name?
I think there was a specific name you wrote down.
Yeah, I think we, on Monday, not that long ago, we said the Don Goodman Press Box. Do we want to add the Don Goodman Memorial Press Box, or what? I don't recall exactly
Either one
what we
works.
said. Is there a preference?
And on here it says Mr. Would you add Mr. or
Oh.
just Don?
No,
Okay.
just
I don't know what is typical or traditional.
Usually it doesn't
We
say.
can just call it press
Okay.
box.
Okay. So I like Don Goodman Press Box.
What do most of our
So do I.
dedications or say? Do they say memorial or?
I mean, the football
I had-
field is,
I had Middletown sent to me, so I think it, and it's going to take me a while to look it up, so.
I think it's John Allen Memorial.
yeah, that's why I was saying, do we want,
Johnson's library is not, I don't think it's Memorial Library, I think it's Johnson's
Correct.
Library, I believe,
okay.
but I could be wrong.
I'm in favor of either.
Middletown just says press box, the name and the press box.
Okay. Don Goodman Press Box?
It does have the years on it too, but Don did over 50 years.
That's a long, yeah.
I like Memorial because
I kind of, it
says it's in
signifies
that
why,
name.
yeah. But I was kind of leaning to,
Yeah, the more I hear it, Memorial actually does sound better to me.
yeah.
In there.
So
Don
I would
Goodman
motion the
Memorial
Don
Press
Goodman
Box.
Memorial Press Box.
Yeah.
I think if you were to do years, you could have the first year he did it and the last, and then like a 2 and the last year he did it. And then if you wanted the years, but Don Goodman Memorial Press Box.
I think having Memorial might help put them in years. yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, so do we have, did you say a motion? Sorry, I didn't hear. Okay. So we have a motion by trustee Addison to approve naming the announcer's booth as Don Goodman Memorial Press Box. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by trustee Candelaria Orr. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And trustee Mendoza Torres is absent. Right, moving on to J2, consideration and possible approval of the update to the 2021-2024 Local Control Accountability Plan.
During our Monday night meeting, CNI Director Dr. Nicole Odell presented the local control accountability plan, and the board considered the audience for input. Since there was no audience, we had not much input, but tonight it's up for approval.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Addison to approve J12, or J2.
I'll second.
A second by trustee Garrison. Oops. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And trustee Mendoza Torres is absent.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to J3, consideration and possible approval of the 23-24 proposed budget, including reasons for assigned and unassigned ending fund balances in excess of minimum recommended reserves.
Patty, you want to speak to it, or do you want? Okay. Patty Mills, our CBO.
Good evening. There is one adjustment to the budget that is necessary for it to be approved at county level and state level, and that is our 3% transfer to the routine restricted maintenance needs an additional $1,393 to be transferred. So that'll come from the general fund balance and transfer into Resource 8150. So that change has been made to the budget, and that is what was printed in before you. And that is the only change at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty.
Thanks, Patty.
With that change, I'll move to approve.
Okay. We have a motion by trustee Addison to approve J3,
I'll second.
a second by trustee Garrison. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And trustee Mendoza Torres is absent. Future agenda items, master planning, Alexander Valley Healthcare student concerns, board policy 5111, TK and K admissions. Our next future board meeting date is July 19th, 2023, a regular board meeting at 6 p.m. And before I adjourn, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Jorgensen for his time here, and this is his last meeting.
Yes.
It is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And with that, can we get a motion to approve, or to adjourn the meeting at 6:20 p.m.?
Move to adjourn?
Motion by trustee Garrison,
I'll second.
second by trustee Candelaria Orr. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And trustee